Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and we do live analysis Monday, Tuesday, and Friday every week, 10 a.m. And then we have live trading with Scott, with Jay Trader on Wednesdays. He's a stocks trader at 10 a.m. and then live trading with Scott Bolsini, a futures trader, on Thursday at 10 a.m. We also have Tom B. He is streaming live immediately after this webinar, right around 11:30 or so, all East Coast times here. And this is free education that you're getting with Bookmap. It's all order flow analysis using Bookmap and showing the insights that you can get using the software. By understanding just the three elements on the chart: understanding price structure, volume within that price structure, and then also showing the supply and the demand, the order book, both historical and current, to show where their limit buy and sell orders are. So let's jump in. Let's go through some disclosures and then take a quick look at the market. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's jump right in. Let's take a look. Great chart. Love it immediately. Here's why. We have a range here in the S&P 500 just around 7 o'clock a.m. East Coast time. You can see this very small range or tight range here. We see the drop and we see some high liquidity comes in here, and we see the reaction to this high liquidity is buyers. We come back up and trade back up into this area here, and then 9:30 everything changes as radically. As you can see, we blast through this liquidity here, and here, and then come up into this 39.50 area here. Pretty strong move, pretty powerful move here. We see quite a bit of selling coming in now too. Still, buyers are in control here in this move, but a lot of selling coming in, looking to test this area. Well, they're just about there at 30 and maybe a little bit lower too. We have liquidity also here at 27. It's a lot of selling. Then there's our 30, still looking for 27. Let's see if we can get it. Let's just zoom in a little bit closer here and why we're looking for, well, we knew because of the liquidity here, and we don't really see anything around 27, but liquidity here for sure at 30. But we're looking at this price structure here. Okay, that's what we want to look at. This is where it kind of broke out from that structure around 28.75. We're also looking at this little kind of back and forth in here. I like this area right in here actually, by this swing about 26 and a quarter. All right, so we're going to take that information and let's look at the current market and see where we went. I have the liquidity marker on the chart here. This is kind of something new that we were I was just testing the other day. I'm actually going to turn it off for right now. If you guys have questions, I can go over it with you. But all right, so here's our move. There's 30, there's 27 or 28, and what did we say? It was like 26 and a quarter or something. Yeah, somewhere right around in here. So let's just mark that up. I want to show you guys how important it is to understand these areas in here. Okay, there it is. We're anticipating some sort of reaction in there. All right, so here we are in that zone. All right, so we started the webinar, we're looking for, it was dropping down, and we're looking for the move into 30. And my point is here is we yesterday went over lessons. Today we're going to go over a lot more of live analysis and order flow, and we already started off with a nice move here. Okay, we're looking for that move. It's already unfolded, and let's see if we can get down to the bottom of this range here. Okay, we're already there. So there's our move. Now I'm really kind of curious here. I am kind of anticipating some sort of bounce here, just due to the market structure. All right, so let's see. We got a few buyers here. Let's see if they can retest back up here to 28.25. No, not having it yet. More liquidity at a lower level here. Okay, and it's looking actually pretty good for sellers to hit the bid down into 23.25. No, all right, there we go. So we are going to get a little bit of a bounce there. Okay, looking for the bounce to come up to about here. Again, structure, looking at structure. Boy, that's it. That's all we can get though. Yeah, okay, big selling just comes in and takes it lower. All right, where else are we going here? Let's take a look. All right, well, we're going for a cash open here, right around in here. And that's going to be the next test around 20, liquidity at 20 and 17. Okay, this is a pretty big move here, and then high liquidity on the offer immediately, right underneath it or above it here. Okay, let's get our 21 liquidity filled here. Looking for it. There it is, and lower 20. Look at again. See the order book here? See, this is very different than yesterday. There it is again. We're getting down into our 17, maybe our 15 level. Okay, we just traded into 18. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, again, high liquidity bit here on, not too much, but they're here at 20. There's a reaction to it. Okay, looking for more sellers here at 18, and then the move down to this 16 level here. Okay, would love to see more liquidity at a lower level yet again down here, or around here. We're not getting it. There it is. There's some. All right, let's see the reaction to it though. See, we see some buying interest in that. See that? Okay, so let's see if they trade it. If they do, if we can trade up to here, we're going to trade up into 20, and then maybe we can even bounce a little bit higher, back up into 22. There it is. There's 20. Okay. Interesting dynamics here. So we got some high liquidity here at 20.75, but buyers seem to be interested in it, looking for them to trade, looking for this 21.75 to transact. Let's see if we can. Buyers seem to be, they're game for it. So let's see if they can hit it here. There's a little bit of a push on the bid, and there's our transactions. Great. Let's see if they can continue on higher then. We found some buyers. Now, this is the key, though. Just the same lessons we covered yesterday. High liquidity, this is the event. This is what we want to see, above or below this line right here. Okay, we're below it. So we're not finding buyers above it. Not yet. Okay, here we go. Here's the retest. Do we get buyers above it? There they are. All right, buyers, let's see you lift it up into 23, maybe even 24. There's 23. And that's it. That's it. Just up to 23. You can see the sellers come streaming in right back down to the bottom of the range. Okay, watch this move though. This is it's good selling. It's not a whole lot of selling, but it's pretty strong and consistent. Or it's not so strong. It's very consistent though. We can easily come right back up here. And look at this liquidity in here. 21. Okay, now we're starting to find some sellers though. So yeah, let's see if we trade here. It's kind of back and forth in here. We're starting to find some sellers though. Okay, so if we get a little bit more in here, then we're looking for 18 and then 17. Okay, back down to kind of bottom of the range here. Yeah, somewhere around here. And doesn't look like it. Looks like there's buyers here. There we go. Okay. All right, buyers, can you lift it right back to 23? Yeah, let's see here. Already jumping into some of the questions. Good morning, David. Good morning, Alec. Big divergence between icebergs and CVD. I do not do much with it. Always wait for reactions to see what ice transactions. But can you cover this? How to interpret? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of careful to. Good morning, Matt. I'm kind of careful to mix CVD into it here, David. But we'll take a look at it and look at some distinctions here. Yeah, let's just let me kind of put that on the back burner for just a moment here and continue on with this live analysis. And also, there's a question here in YouTube. Good morning, Guido. A question here in YouTube about yeah, easy trade. Yeah, I think this was a very easy move to the downside to catch. You know, we're looking for it. I mean, this was this was a nice move. Webinar started, you know, around in here. We're looking for that move into 30. We got it, and we're looking for the continuation. We drew up our lines in here, and we wanted to see it trade into that. And then we just saw, compared to yesterday, very, very different. Very different. Here's why. More liquidity on the offer. More liquidity on the offer. The reaction was sellers. They're starting to pull on the bid in some of these areas, and we noted it in real time. And then so we're just looking for it to continue on. If they're not going to tangle with this and the reaction is selling, we're looking for it to trade into lower liquidity, as simple as that. And it did. Okay, and then we're looking for where it might bounce. Okay, and we're looking at, you know, kind of, you know, where the swing and the buyers came in here. Now this is very typical. It went below the swing. In fact, it went down to just about this structure, this area here, and that's where we see the low. And then we were looking for, okay, our buyer's going to come in. Now we got insight by that, by this liquidity in here. Buyers wanted it. They seemed to be attracted to it. Okay, and then looking to see them trade into this. They did. Then we're looking to see if we can get, you know, what was the insight above or below this here. Okay, we didn't get above it here immediately. It was, in fact, we see some selling, and then we came back up. We saw our buyers. Okay, great. 21, 22, 23. Okay, and it did trade to 23 here, right up into 23. All right, and then immediate sell-off. Now, this was like yesterday's action, and this is why, like, you know, I got a little bit of it wasn't blowback, but there was some yesterday some criticism about going over lessons. Here's why we did it, because of this here is no different than yesterday's action in the lesson. That we don't see liquidity in here. This is just an aggressor move down to the bottom of the range. Okay, then we had this in here, and we're looking, okay, all right, sellers. Let's see if we get our sellers. We started to get a few, but buyers rotated in and traded into it. We found buyers instead, right? So these kinds of moves can retrace very, very easily and back up to where it initiated in here, right? Now this guy kind of you know, made it a little more complex, this liquidity in here, but you can see what happened here, right? In hindsight. But we were not looking for hindsight. We were looking for, or covering this in terms of the strong or the quick move here and the sellers. But there's not much in liquidity in this area. Sellers can cut down into these areas here, and then they can cut. The buyers can cut it right back though. Now this guy here, or this player, put high liquidity into the order book. and we found buying pressure, and we even found it above it. This is showing buying pressure. We're looking for back up to 23, maybe higher. Yeah, 24, 25. Okay, and we just traded there. Okay, let's just zoom back out. Now look where we came back and bounced. Okay, where we drew our lines in here, and we drew our lines due to previous market structure and transactions in liquidity. Okay, here come buyers yet again, and they could only trade it at 26.5 so far. All right, and yeah, still pretty dark underneath here. So yeah, sellers can cut right back down to 23 here. And as I'm saying that, that's unfolding. This is moving pretty nicely, pretty quickly here. See more sellers. All right, they're going to trade at 20.50. Now, you know, that's not much insight there, but and they pulled already. All right, well, let's see if we see how dark it is here. Let's, you know, this is where, like, I take a step back. I'm looking for buyers actually to cut through this back up to 24.5 or so, right? Because they can. They get these sellers on the hook, new selling coming in, and then they can. Now, if they do or not is another question. But there's not high liquidity here on the offer. They're starting to show some, but it's up here at 24.5, 25. Okay, we want to see it down here and the reaction to it. Right? So these can be actually really good range-bound strategies. Look for these buyers to come in and then trade it back up into these areas here. Okay, here we go. Here come the buyers looking for it, looking for them to try to, you know, run some stops back up into here, 24, 25. Okay, I still want to see it higher. I want to see this liquidity trade. See how dark it is again underneath here? Okay, now it's a little bit of a change. See the high liquidity come in, right? Gives it a little bit of a push here. The reaction to this liquidity, a little bit of a push. Note how dark it is though. Again, there's our range bound trade. You can even reverse it and range bound trade again, you know, down to this area here. I would have taken my profit here. Okay, I would have probably gotten in right around in here. You guys know the drill. I mean, on Discord, I've been talking about these things for I don't know. Well, we've been talking about them for years, basically. Okay, and then again, I would take partial profit on this right there. And I'm not so sure about this one here. If we get more sellers to try to trade back down to 18.5 here, but I'd take partial profit and I'd move my stop down. I'll tell you that. Okay, again, these aren't trade recommendations in here. It's understanding liquidity and market structure, okay, and the transactions as well. So where the market might go based on the order flow here. Now, today's a lot easier read than it was yesterday. Right, we're getting a lot more insight from some of this liquidity in these areas in here. And we see the reaction. The most important part here is the reaction to the liquidity, is what we're seeing. Yeah. So anyway, you guys can start to look at these things and start to put together your range bound trade ideas, or you know, you can look at bigger picture here. Let's look at this. All right. So obviously sell off. We came back up into around this 26 level. We're making lower lows and lower highs here. In this picture, I'm looking for sellers to come in again and hit the low, and liquidity maybe down at 15. Okay, on this view. So you know, likely would have been in somewhere around in here, around 20, and I'm looking for the continuation. Okay, look at the sellers. Look at the price movement. Now, I'd be moving my stop to break even as well on this. I want this to work now. If it doesn't work now, I'll wait for another setup. Okay, that would be the way I would be looking at this and manage it. So I would have been stopped out at break even on this. Fine. I'm fine with it. I'll look for the next one. Okay, so it's not a trade recommendation, but it's a consideration, something to look at, right? Okay, high liquidity here, back at 20, and oh boy, reaction to it. Okay, so we're looking to go lower here yet again. Now, that's too bad. My trade management in here would have been stopped out of break even, and I missed this. All right, well, how can I come back and rectify that, right? I'm looking for it to work now. And there's our beautiful move, 15. This is where you get back into your trading plan, and you start to look at this. Now, I would do it the same way. Again, this is the way that I like to trade. However, what I want to go over is for your trading plan, okay, how you might be looking at this, and ways to consider giving it maybe a little more leeway. This was more of a higher time frame move that we were looking for. Okay, we were zoomed out a little bit more, and we noted like a kind of bigger picture here: downtrend, retracement, lower high, looking for a lower low, looking for the move to work right now. We got one pullback here, back to here, okay, which would have stopped me out, and then we got the continuation move. All right, so anyway, the point here is, let's go over a trade management consideration in here. All right, so let's just suppose like you got in here around 20. Okay, there's your entry. Now, just not enough movement here to take a partial profit for me. I'm looking for this I see a lot of selling coming in. I'm looking for the continuation down to, it was around 15, this liquidity down here. Okay, we got a bounce, and then it did it. Now, the consideration would be like, look for, you could look for a pullback instead. You could also like get back in after you've seen this here, high liquidity on the offer followed by selling, and then we got the break here. That's the confirmation of it, and then the move lower. Okay, so anyway, the another consideration would be stop would be it depends, like you could kind of look at maybe a point of control of this little area in here, which would happen to be right here around 22, and you would have been okay. You wouldn't have been stopped out. I would have put it a little, if I was going to look for a higher time frame move, I would have put it higher. I'm not sure exactly if I would have put it right here. I would kind of wait and watch. I'd probably put it up here and wait and watch and look for the order flow. Okay, so that would be like a 4-point stop or so. And then I would look for if I see a bunch of buyers coming in here, I'm out, and I'll just hit. I'm not going to get a full stop loss taken on that. Like I said, when I first came into this, I'm looking for this to move here and now, and then continuation. These are other considerations, other ways of looking at it. Okay. All right. So anyway, yeah. Let's continue on, and then I want to get to David's question or his request to look at CVD and stops and icebergs. All right, now sellers still in control from this move here. Okay, and here. All right, so sellers in control from about 23 onward. All right, that's another reason why putting your stop up above where sellers came into control is a good idea. Okay, it's a consideration at least. All right, so let's see, was this a false breakout, or do we find more buyers come streaming in and try to make it back to about 18 or so? I'm going to take a look at this quick range here. David, I'll get to you in just a minute. I want to see this trade and fail here, and then continue on lower. It's one scenario. I mean, I don't have any reason right now for that to happen, except that we're just in a downtrend. Nothing in the order flow is telling me yet. So looking for sellers right around here, looking for them to pull here, looking for more supply, and just didn't quite get it. Let's see if we get it here. Yeah, just not, there's a little bit of supply at 18. Do we find our sellers? Nope, not really. Not yet. It's not ready yet. Okay, so maybe buyers can lift it back to 20 or 21. Could see a lot more stops triggered. Yeah, I don't like it. I want to see more supply at this lower level here. Still, this is like yesterday. You know, we see the breakdown here. All right, well, we can look for a pullback though. And you can consider getting in maybe right around here. Somewhere around 16, 16 and a half. Okay, a little more liquidity here. Let's see it. $16 and a half, 17. I mean, there it pulled back, but I just don't like it. Again, I wouldn't take it. I'm seeing liquidity on the bid here, and I'm seeing the reaction being buyers. So, like, yeah, I'm not interested. Again, like yesterday, looking at this liquidity in here and price action, keeping me out of making a decision. Stefan, you're considering Bookmap offering with MBO? Sure. Yeah, sure. Well, that segues into you're looking for stops and icebergs and some insight on that. That'll segue very nicely into David's question here. Good morning, Cat in a Hat. All right. Guys, also just to let you guys know, on YouTube, if you want to, we've got a really nice community over in our Discord chat room, and we're also streaming over there live, and there's a little bit of delay, so it's about a 3-second delay on YouTube. So if you want to join over there, you can join the chat as well. Yeah, you might want to consider it and take a look. All right, high liquidity. Look at the player came in here with high liquidity, and we saw the reaction to that was selling. This is tricky stuff though. Like they pulled that liquidity here already at 16, right? So this could be a false breakdown, stop run, and then look for buyers above 16 here. Okay, let's see if we get it. Here they come. All right, did we see more on the bid here? No, not really. I wouldn't mess with it. I'm looking for more buyers above and then up into 18, but just again, like I'm staying away from it until I get something that just gives more insight to the order flow here. Instead of getting just ping pong balled around in here. Okay, selling coming in. All right, here's some sellers. Again, want to see that offer here, and they're not. They're up here, right? So this is getting very choppy in here, as you guys can see. Okay, we need to see sellers here, and I want to see that order book here start to light up on the offer. There it goes. That happened a little too quickly. Okay, but yeah, they're starting to do it. And you can see now they're pulling, and then it's back and forth. Anyway, let's get to there's the move. Okay, So I mean, the bid or the offer finally did kind of light up in here and did push it, but that was a hard read. We didn't really see that. You saw some of it here, but it had already moved. We did not. We wanted to see it in here, and then the reaction be sellers. Kind of was the opposite, sellers, and then reaction was the offer. Okay, lows of the day here, or of the session. Okay, looking for the figure down here, 3,900. 05 or 06 liquidity is the next stop here. Here's our liquidity. See the liquidity coming in, at these lower levels here. Great. All right, let's just see the sellers continue then and drop it down to this kind of 05 3/4. And they've got it. Let's see if they go for it. Looking for the sellers. There they go again. Now we're looking for the move to follow through. There it goes. And let's see if we can follow through to the figure at this point. Down to 3,900 here. There we go. Beautiful. Looking for the continuation, looking for our stops here. So this is our stops indicator, and this is our icebergs. There's some icebergs in here that are buying. Okay, but they were also buying in this little area here. Still looking for the continuation lower into 3,900. All right, so David, are you looking for more of stops and icebergs? Yeah, just icebergs. Just icebergs and CVD is the study. Okay, let's take a look. Getting some questions here on stops and icebergs. Yeah, I can go over the readings in here or the settings in what I'm looking at here. So let me first go through that. I'll right click on it and scroll up. Stops and icebergs on the sub chart. This is the way I have it here in the settings. I have it on sum. Okay, so it's basically cumulative volume delta over time, and I do not have any symmetrical axes here. Okay, so it's purely, you can see the axis is different from icebergs compared to stops. Now, that's fine for me. I like it because I have this context here. I know that they're not the same, but I know that this was pretty big for, at least in this time frame, of iceberg buying. I also know that stops, this is pretty big for stops in this time frame, right? And I look at the context between the two. There's stops and icebergs here. So who's on the other side of this trade here? Larger players with icebergs, as others, smaller players, are getting stopped out. We see it twice here, 3 times actually. This one's a little different. Okay, so let's zoom out. Let's take a look at a bigger picture. All of this here. This is tremendous. I mean, look at this. These icebergs started to sell. Let's just zoom in here a little bit. Right around in here. So they took it on the chin all the way up to here, selling all the way through. Okay, and that was pretty significant. Minus 700, minus 2,400, so about 1,400. It's not bad. It's not bad for the cash open, but it's the most for today for sure at this point. Now look who's getting stopped out. So who's on the other side? Look at this crazy dynamic between smaller players and larger players in stops and icebergs. Okay, it's very telling. Okay, guys, we were looking for the move to continue lower. This is actually pretty typical order flow. I thought we'd get a quick move all the way back down here because it's some pretty heavy selling. It didn't. Structurally, we're still, have our bias to the downside here, but what I wanted to cover here, what's typical is before hitting the big figure, we do get a lot of back and forth in here, a lot of profit taking, a lot of front running, high liquidity in front of these areas in here, and it just doesn't quite push down into that area here. So we got to go higher, find some buyers in here, get them on the hook, reverse, and then get them to stop out into the figure down here. So let's look for that dynamic. We're already kind of breaking out of a small time frame here, okay? But so likely to trade up to about 10 here, 9 or 10, and then I'm looking for it to maybe it'll come up to about 11 or so, and then I'm looking for those sellers to come in and try to get below these buyers in here. Okay, this is exactly what we covered yesterday in more detail. Now they're really right around here at 05. But if you start to see, now this is something to take a look at as well, range bound trade, you start to see maybe some exhaustion here and some selling starting to come in, you can trade it back down to here, take some off and hold, looking for the bigger move to continue. So here's our exhaustion, here's our sellers, you jump in, you take partial profit down here at 05. Now from like 07 to 05, not much, a couple points. But you'd have one leg or one position off and try to get a runner out of it, okay, in continuation of the trend here. Right, is a free trade at this point. Another thing, you guys, many of you may consider, just like if you see something like that, you're all in, all out. Maybe you're trading a one lot. It's fine. Just look for the high probability trade, something that gives you some insight. Get out and look for the next one. There'll be plenty. I don't know where Alan is. Alan was talking about, we talked about this years ago with Alan. Yeah, and now you'd be stopped out, right? But you gave it a shot. You just look for the next one. Stopped out at break even on that second leg. Yep, Stephen, stops are important, absolutely. Yeah, one thing about stops that I really like is that stops are the smaller players. It's us, it's retail traders, and they're typically getting stopped out at the same areas. The kind of behavior is a little bit easier to kind of quantify and understand, whereas icebergs, we don't know exactly what these larger players are doing with their icebergs. In fact, a lot of times you'll see icebergs get filled as price continues to move against them. They're different players. But when you see that behavior though, and you see significant icebergs though, look for buyers to start to come in, the aggressors. Then you'll get a really nice move, because their way of trading is to have price come against them, get filled, and continue to average cost, right? And then they're set, and then they're done, and look for buyers to start to come in on the other side, and then move it, like for example here, back to VWAP. There's your VWAP trade. So look for that behavior in your stops and your icebergs, or your icebergs, not stops. So different ways of looking at this data because of the different players involved in here. All right, so I'm just kind of throwing out a lot of considerations to take a look at. Stephen, I like you're looking at your NQ correlation. That's excellent. The blue line is the icebergs, correct? Yeah, and they've been buying, and in here it's kind of back and forth, as you can see. But the majority of them were selling up here as it went against them, right? All the way up here, right? So anyway, let's get to icebergs and CVD. Okay. So guys, this is David requested this. He's a been a Bookmap user for a long time, or quite a while, and very active in our chat room. So happy to go through these things with David. Yeah, you have certain requests and things, we can go through them. All right, let's look at this context between these two different indicators. And first off, let's talk about what they're showing. I think this is the most important part. So let's be clear on what they're doing. All right, we just went through, in fact, let me deselect CVD for the moment. Okay, we just went through and covered what icebergs are. Okay, these are hidden orders. Larger players that have a lot of liquidity and they hide it from the order book because they don't want to be, they want to be filled. They don't want to scare the market away. If they show high liquidity in here, it might scare price away and they'll never get filled. So anyway, and we know that they can also, they have deeper pockets, can go against them, like in here on this move down. Right, so we want to take a look at that behavior in here, where they're positioning and where, you know, where we start to see buyers maybe come in. Okay, now see how we had to come back up into, we talked about this 10 or 11 area, and then the rotation on the sell side. Here they are. I'm looking for the figure now. This is like you know, very, very typical, like we were talking about. We're looking for it earlier because a lot of selling. We have to get higher. Look at the buying in here. Now let's just turn the stops on for a moment, because we're going to see beautiful stop run down into the figure. It's because of these buyers in here. All right, so this is the fuel to this fire. All right, so anyway, point made on the on that move higher here, and then the sellers to come in and hit the figure here. We're not quite there at the figure yet, but I'm looking for it. All right, let's take the stops off. Let's look at our CVD. So we know what we just defined the icebergs. We know what that is and what this is showing here. All right, let's take a look at CVD now. Okay, let's take icebergs off for a moment. What is CVD telling us? Well, this is just the aggressor, and its plot is a very, very simple, blunt indicator. It is showing buy minus sell over time. That's it. It is not showing price action. It's just buy minus sell volume, aggressor volume. If it's a market buy, it's a positive number. Let's say it's 10 contracts on the S&P, then CVD would be 10. Let's say it was a sell now of 8. Well, that would be a negative number. Add them the two together, CVD would now be 2. Okay, but where this gets really interesting is where we have divergences between this blunt output of aggressor volume versus price action. You would think that they should be aligned, right? Well, they're not. They're not always aligned. And why is that? It's because you might get a lot of buying in an area and price doesn't go up. It's not one-for-one type of move or correlated move. And the reason being is that there's limit sell orders on the other side here absorbing all of that. And I can demo this very easily. Okay, we'll zoom into an area here. And here. Okay, we have, you know, high liquidity in here. Here's selling. Here's another point, selling. So let's just go through this a little bit more in detail. So they're selling all here at the same price level, 39.02. CVD is dropping though. Okay, at this point here, CVD reading is negative 260, and then here it is negative 385. So there's a divergence there, right? And it's due to these limit buy orders in here. They're absorbing this. They're keeping price from falling because they're on the other side taking the transaction. Okay, now once they got filled, you can see sellers cut through it. Right? This is one of the reasons why I don't like you want to be very careful with your divergences. You're like, oh yeah, it's divergent, look for buyers, boom, you know, off to the upside, reversal. No, it just doesn't work like that. The market is a lot more complex than that. I know that's a binary kind of example, just about, but you know, that's the case. Now here we're again. I was looking for it. We still didn't get there. I thought for sure this would get there, right? We have pretty strong selling here, traded into this 02, and then it did reverse out of there. Now, I mean, you can see like this is exactly what the market must do. Rotates back and forth before it can get in here. And then let's see our stops. It should be a beautiful stop run there, and there it is. There it is. All right. So sorry, David, I keep on getting distracted here by the market action. Let's turn on our we were just defining our CVD. Okay, so we know what CVD is showing us now. Okay, so let's put the two together here. What about the icebergs? So the icebergs are basically going to show the same, you know, the opposite side here. So when you see a divergence here, let's look at in fact here we go. You'll see CVD dropping. Let's find an iceberg that's we might have to show it on a smaller time frame here. Yeah, right here. Okay, so here you got your CVD dropping, and we don't have much liquidity at this level. There's like 19 contracts here at this price level, just 19. And yet look at all this selling in here. Okay, this selling here has been 83. It should drop price. Should be able to cut through that liquidity very easily and trade lower. Well, we're getting the divergence here not due to liquidity, but we're getting it because of icebergs. All right, so they're on the other side absorbing. All right, so we want some insight to that. Okay, well, there we have some divergence. And now what we'd be looking for is at this point, we want to see like was it going to be buyers or sellers above it or below it? So it's kind of similar to what we were looking at earlier. This is going to be this 98.50 here is going to be the kind of critical point here to take a look at. Okay, on this is a very small time frame to take a look at. And let's just draw it up. 98.50 right there. Okay. Okay, so we know they're buying. All right, now we're looking for buyers back up in the top of the range here. Lack of sellers in here is starting to do it, and it just not enough buyers here. They were not willing to take it back up into the figure here. In fact, we see an iceberg on the other side here. This is really curious though. Okay, now they're starting to buy again. All right, now we got to get back up here. This is our point, and we're looking for green dots up here. Let's make them bigger. Okay, we're looking for green dots up here. If we get them here, we've got a confluence with icebergs and CVD. We're looking for the figure. There it is. Boom. Okay, now on that small time frame, that's all I'd be looking for. But we can zoom out and we can look at much higher time frames. And yeah, David, this actually turned into be a pretty nice little move. Okay, now, you know, we started to note that behavior in here. And, you know, I don't know, I think it might be a little coincidental that we kind of came all the way back up here. You know, this move, though, to 3,900 makes a lot of sense. But now they're selling here and here. Okay, and CVD's like, you know, it's just kind of back and forth. In fact, a little bit more buying. David, does that make sense? Or do you want me to go through you want me to go through some other things? Well, yeah, I mean, one step at a time here. I see your posts here. One step at a time, and that is like, first off, what are they showing, right? And then what does it mean? Now let's put the two together. And is there some sort of correlation? Can we get something? Can we glean something from it? Is the question. Okay, I really like seeing these them selling. Although it went against them, I don't care. I'm looking for sellers below where these guys started to sell on the iceberg side here, where they were getting filled, and that's starting to happen. So I'm looking for follow through due to that correlation or that confluence. I'm looking for the sellers to come in, hit 95. Okay, see, this is where this little study in here gives me a little bit warmer feeling about this dropping to 95. Now we got the offer lighting up, our aggressors coming in. I'm looking for a clear path down to 95, right, due to what we just talked about in here and some of the players in here. Okay, now you can look at how dynamic this is. So, you know, everything's kind of shifting and changing. We're seeing iceberg buying in here now, huge iceberg selling, okay, or a lot bigger, put it that way. So this was well, let's put the icebergs on chart. All right, great. There's 250, right? So this is the key area. We're back to the same. Look, they're battling at the same area here. I'm looking for sellers below it here. This could be a really nice move. Let's see it, sellers. CVD going up, icebergs going down. Looking for our sellers here. Looking for 95. And that's the overnight low. Okay, 85 area. Okay, okay, I'm looking for follow through this actually. Now we're looking for a trend here. Okay, we're looking for maybe some of this chop to end, and let's see if we can get a trend out of this now and continuation. So, you know, yeah, I like your idea. 85, maybe, you know, 90, 92 to begin with, but let's watch this and see. Anyway, this is another, I mean, this is the way I like to take a look at some of these things, is to use this as a confluence. And like I said, it kind of gives you a warm feeling that you've done your studying. You know that there's something to this. Now you're looking, but you're still looking for the order flow to follow through. I mean, so order flow is the most important part. This is just giving you that confluence or kind of added, an insurance assurance to it working out. If you study this and you find an edge in it. Okay, we're still looking for the order flow though to take the front, you know, the front edge here. Yeah, I mean, look at this move back up. It's even above where these icebergs came in. So I'd be looking for more of these icebergs to come in again, right? It's already going against them. So I'll bet they're going to start to support it here. So we should see some more iceberg selling up here. And I don't see it right now. And nothing significant, that's for sure. There's 6 up here, I think. 5 or 6. Okay, sellers should be able to, if no liquidity change in here, then I'm looking for the sellers to try to drop it right back down to the figure here, maybe a little bit lower. But we got a shift in the liquidity right here, and the reaction was buyers. Right, I was looking for sellers to try to whip it right back down here, but this came in, found buyers. Okay, so yeah, still kind of squeezing higher. Here's our iceberg at this is on the bid though. There's a beautiful stop run, 407. Beautiful. Okay, let's see the sellers whip it right back down here to the figure. I think we can do that. Okay, we got to see them here at about 04. There we go. Let's see it, sellers. Looking for it, and the move back down to about 3,900. It's not really playing. I mean, they're showing more liquidity here on the bid, right? So we're looking for that because of a kind of a vacuum here of the stop run, but the bid is still strong here. These guys got to pull, and they want to see more on the offer here. Not seeing it. All right, let's take a look here. All right, David, so you don't mind if I show this, David, do you? You got your fill? Okay. All right, let's take a look. Reverse, long here. Reverse, scale, out, short, out. Okay. $41 and 49 up there. Okay. Yeah, nice. I mean, high liquidity in here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure about the it's an interesting idea, an interesting study here. I don't know. Not sure what not sure if it's for me. I'd have to spend a lot more time and I got the gist of it, but there are different players in here, and that's something that yeah, I know what you're looking for though. I mean, you're looking kind of for like the hidden orders to give insight, and then looking for some pretty big divergence, because CVD, for example, like maybe it's it trades up into here and just I mean, high liquidity in here. We see like a kind of an inverse divergence, and you also see a lot of icebergs up here. That should be pretty good then. If they're going to get filled in here, at the top of the range, you have liquidity getting filled and you have icebergs getting filled, and you get this divergence in here. But now you got to get the sellers. Okay, now you're looking for the sellers in the small range. You're looking for them right around here, and it already dropped to here. Okay, now you're looking for them again here, and you're looking for the drop back down to basically the figure. Right, so yeah, I like the idea, and I just think yeah, I have to kind of study it some more. The other thing to consider is, I just, one of the things that after I meet with quite a few traders, and one of the things that I mean, you can even look at like Scott and Jay Trader. One of the things I notice is that how simple they keep it. I mean, really, really, really simple. So not getting overly complex. They have data on, and they know how to collect the data for their trading strategies, and then they're just looking for that and looking for the follow through time and again, right? So here's our finally our move, and it had to trade up into this liquidity here, and then it failed. Okay, so here's our pullback already. Okay, so that could be a chance to get in right around this 03, and then try to move it down to the figure. We never got to the figure, in fact, not yet on this move. Guys, it's becoming very choppy right now. If we're going to get that move here, this is not looking high probability. Here's why. We're not seeing, it's not, I mean, the selling is not bad, but buyers can bring it right back up to here in 05 here. Look at the liquidity in here. Now watch, see them on the bid here. Watch this. It'll probably move right back to 05 here. Okay, get these guys selling in here and get them stopped out back up into 05. Okay, it's a very easy move when there's not a lot of liquidity in here. And this is what we talked about yesterday in length. Okay, and that would keep you out of that pullback here. Okay, so there's another way to look at this here. If it's not doing what you like or what you want, stay away from it. All right, this is a low volume pullback, but you didn't have all the pieces in that low volume pullback. This is better actually as a low volume pullback now. Back up to like this 04. Okay, and that's even better here. Okay, so now looking for an entry point. If that's a low volume pullback, I want to see sellers here around 04. I'm not getting them. They're, in fact, it's the opposite. They're pulling here, and we're still getting buyers. Yeah, skew in the order book on the bid, we're still getting buyers. Let's see if we can get a few sellers in here, and then a quick move down to 03. No sellers. Yeah, David, I'm looking at your other charts in here. Yeah, and it's kind of hard. They keep squeezing like this. Exactly. See, now look at the sellers just try to move it away. They've had it, right? They just come in here and try to move it away really quickly. But we really want to see again, and they come in, they kind of capped it here at 06 3/4. It's not a lot though, so buyers can still trade it up into this area, but we're seeing a little bit more on the offer here. Okay, let's see more sellers right around here at 04, 04 and a half. and we'll get the drop. Okay, let's see it, sellers. Here you got it. Okay, these guys at 03.5 will probably pull. So I'm still looking kind of for this 01.5 or 01 area down here. No, it's not ready yet. It's just not ready yet. And we didn't get sellers down here. Okay, well, let's see if we get buy exhaustion, and we're not. Okay, back down to the bottom of the range. Yeah, I still don't like it. Okay, this is getting interesting. All right, here we got some liquidity down now on the offer here. Sellers are trading into 04. There they go. Okay, can they drop it below 04? Looks like it. Then we're looking for 01. Great, let's see it. Still buying pressure. Here we go. They're back in again. And buyers take them on. See how back and forth it is in here? This is the auction. Buyers took them on. We're looking for this to cap it and find sellers. Buyers took them on. They took them on again here. Okay, that's what happened here. That's nice, David. You're putting together a trading plan and everything on this. Yeah, that's the way to go. Yeah, we have some ideas in here for doing exactly this in Discord. You know, and sharing a kind of a live trading plan. I want to do it. We haven't had time at this point. Okay, let me get back to some of the YouTube stuff in here, guys. Sorry, I don't mean to leave you hanging in here. We left off with Steven and his NQ correlation. Yeah, the bigger, I think reading the icebergs is a little more complex than reading the stops. Just because, you know, they're playing a bit different game. You know, and we get a lot of traders who immediately look at the icebergs and go, oh well, look, all those icebergs, it's going to, you know, go the opposite direction now, and it really depends on the order flow. Okay, you know the larger player's position, but it really depends on the order flow. Yeah, I mean, even this reading down here, you know, some pretty heavy iceberg too. Well, it's not that heavy. It's just 250. But we marked it up, and it's this 98.50 level here. I'll bet if we get some sellers in here that come in here, and we're looking for them, right here they come. Let's see them trade to the figure, and below 9, I'm looking for the retest to 98.50 here. Here come our sellers. Okay, looking for them to blaze through the figure here and hit this level here. Now this is the level though we want to be kind of keen on here at this 98.50. If we see selling below that, we're looking for a bigger move. Okay, does that make sense? I mean, it makes sense even structurally. We can look at, this is where those buyers came in, right in here, and this is where they're going to lose control, is below here. All right, so that's what we're looking for. Okay, so we already traded the figure here. We're looking for continuation. We're looking for our 98.50. We've got the, some selling here on the offer now. We have more supply at a lower level. And let's see if we can get our move now. Here we go. Let's see it, sellers. No, no selling. Okay, there's our liquidity here. Now the buyers want it or not? Yeah, they kind of do. Let's see it, sellers, right here, right here. And 0.03, nothing. And there's the squeeze. Let's see, Peter, I don't know who you're talking about. He's David is a bookmap trader. Yeah, for sure. Lewis, your bookmap doesn't update as quickly as mine. Not sure why. Yeah, I don't know, how much data you have in there. Like if I zoom all the way out, I've got since 7 a.m. this morning. A lot of it's backfill data though. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, we traded all the way back up to the high volume node, or where, this range was up here, but this is still bearish here because we didn't get above it. Right. So again, we're looking for sellers, and now we're looking for them to move it away from this volume area here, this price structure. This one here. Let's see if we can get it. We're looking for our sellers here. 01. And I don't like it. Again, this is kind of like yesterday. We're not seeing anything here yet. It's not worthy. Buyers can lift it very, very quickly through this dark area in here of liquidity. There's not much liquidity. Okay, we're looking for a move away from an area, and okay, it's getting a little more interesting. Okay, the weather's starting to change a little bit. All right, there's some liquidity. 2.5, and buyers liked it. They were attracted to it. All right, so yeah, our directional move to the downside, we're not ready for it yet. In fact, we're looking for kind of a reversal, or not a reversal, but a range bound trade back up into 05. And here's more liquidity on the offer, and we're still finding buyers here. Okay, top of the range here, not much underneath. Sellers can take it right back down to the figure, basically. Very range bound. All right, let's zoom out again here and take a look. Here come our sellers. Now let's see here if we're going to get our move. So we're at our 98.50, just below it here. Yeah, I'm looking for these sellers to take it. Like this is really kind of that critical area we kind of marked up here, and looking for the selling below here, 98.50. I'm surprised buyers take it right back up to the figure. All right, let's get below again. You can see it's still a battleground, this 98.50 here. Okay, sellers, let's see if we get our sellers below it. These guys will pull it at 97, I'm pretty sure. And then we'll probably get back down into yeah, well, 90, 95 and 90. Looking for it. Here we go. Let's see it, sellers. You got it. Now we're looking for our directional move to unfold. Okay, we've gone through all of this back and forth in here, and now we're looking for something to follow through. Yeah, we'll add the stops in here. I'll take off that CVD for now. Sorry about that. Tallest. Oh yeah, no, I think he did take the trade, Peter. Like you could see you saw the markers on the chart there. David took. You might want to reach out to David, Peter. You might want to jump over to Discord, and you can ask him directly. There's our move, guys. This is the follow through. Now we're looking for, this is the trend move now. All right, this is what we're looking for, and continuation down to 90 and 85. Right, we had to go through all this back and forth in here, and now we're looking for a price to move. Okay, so this was our battleground here at 98 and a half. There was back and forth above it and below it here. More sellers here, and then this is a quick move here, which is kind of tough to grab, but we were making lower highs and lower lows in here, and here's a pullback too, as well. Looking for these sellers to come right back in again here. Okay, so let's see if we can get it. Buyers still fighting it. They're fighting it, trying to get it back up into the range again. And if they do, they're going to come back up into this area here, their volume profile, or even this lower time frame profile here. This is where we're looking for the break away from that profile, and some selling to pressure to move it away. Still looks like a low volume pullback to me. Looking for sellers, looking for the move lower, 90, 92, 90, 85. Okay, and like I said, now we're looking for something different. We're looking for a directional move now at this point. We had the bigger directional move earlier, and then all this kind of back and forth, and then we're looking for continuation. Lots of stops here. Some iceberg buying in here, 136. Okay, Peter. No, I'm serious though. You should reach out to him in Discord. No, it's really we have a really nice community over there. I mean, he's sharing, he's sharing everything in here. He's sharing his trades. He's sharing his higher time frame. He's sharing, his trading plan in here, and we're going through it in real time. It's very nice. Yeah, thank you, David. Hey guys, this is again, like, this is why we covered yesterday, um, the more kind of educational approach, is, what we're looking for, and understanding the order flow, and then starting to understand, like, even higher time frame moves. Now we're looking for the directional move, right? We're looking for it in here. It was kind of around that 98.5 area here, and we knew that we had some insights due to some of the things that David made us take a look at here, and then started to kind of put the pieces together, right? This is where the directional move took place. 98.5, boom, 90, there it is. Look at the move, on the offer at lower areas. Now we've got everything working. Now they did trade into this liquidity here, but they traded right through it, right? They're still on the offer at lower levels here. We're still finding sellers, so we're looking for this to continue. We're looking for it in the bigger picture. Now this is where we'll get, traders. It's not quite the bigger picture here, because the bigger picture is this is kind of a nice trend to the downside, for the day at least. But kind of medium time frame in here was trend move sideways, trend continuation, and looking at and reading price structure, volume, and the transactions in here. Okay, so in 85 was our next level. Now look at some of the icebergs starting to pick up now too. Okay, they're starting to get filled in here. Now, are they covering or are they positioning themselves? Doesn't matter. What matters is we notice the icebergs, and then we notice some of the areas where, if they are buying, where would they be in profit? There's our move, 85. Okay. Yeah, I would be, I would probably be out at 85, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, I look for my targets and I take them. I don't have any reason though at this time to get out. It's just that it hit my target. Okay, well, let's see. Does the order flow continue? Then you'd stay in this. And right now, we don't have any reason to get out. And there's our continuation. Well, there's our 85, finally. And there's a little bit of liquidity below it still. It looks like 84 3/4. And then again, on this move, this directional move here, and see how easy these are to capture. I mean, boy, I shouldn't say that. Once you're in them, it sure is easy. But capturing it, you had to go through all this back and forth and all of this BS back in here. And then finally, looking for it, and then, noticing our areas, and then looking for the continuation and the follow through. Okay, and this has followed through very, very nicely. So you look at more liquidity here on the offer here at 87, still going lower. Okay, look at the offer. What's the reaction? More selling. Okay, great. continuation, looking for this liquidity down here, 81.5, 80. No, there was no reason to get out. Okay, we mentioned that, of course, but yeah, we just don't see anything yet telling us. Now, how you want to get out is bye-bye balance area. Yeah, and let's cover that, Alec. Look at the selling in here. This goes over that point that we're making about like understanding. Here, let me use the pen. Sell volume. Whoa, that's a little much. Sell volume, directional move. Right here, directional move. This is like a directional move in here on the buy side. Here they're trying it again. Here it's back and forth. Here's selling, countered by buying, and we got chop. Then we saw this move down to our 85 level. Okay, we noticed that 85.5, and then we're really keen at this area here. We're watching it. Okay, and we saw our sellers come in. Great, we're looking for the move, and it was 95, it was 90, then it was 85, and then at 85 we said, like, really there's really no reason to get out yet. It's continuation until we see something different. And you know, I think it's a rule that you know, you need to kind of, you know, come to terms with, and in this case, you know, it worked out really nicely until you know, come up with some reasons of, not just because it hit your target, but you know, come up with some reasons why. You know, my reasons are usually it hit my high liquidity target. That's what I was looking for, and then I can look for, you know, I'm anticipating a bounce at that point. In fact, we didn't get any bounce whatsoever here. It just continued on lower, right? But like to Alec's point here, bye-bye balance area, this is what it takes, guys, and it's done it really nicely here. All right, point made on that. And then reasons for getting out. Well, we let the order flow tell us. You know, look at the price structure. Okay, even with this price structure here, and you see this little bit of buying coming in, there's no reason to get out. Not yet. Price structure is still holding. Okay, it has to get above these swings, and we have to see buying above it here at 80.5. And we're not seeing anything like that yet. So you just stick with it. Stick with your trade to the downside. All right, again, these are not trade recommendations. This is how to read order flow and apply it to any of your trading strategies, whatever it might be you might be looking for. For example, Alec, David, they're looking at volume profiles. You know, they're looking for it to move away from a balance area. And guys, it doesn't get much better in terms of a move away from a value area. This is quite pretty. Look at that. I mean, here, we'll even take the stops and icebergs off here for a moment. I mean, look at that volume. Okay, see the chop and the back and forth in here. Look at the volume dots. Look at the size. Look at the colors. Okay, you can also see it in the bars, back and forth. It was kind of tricky in there, and this is easy. Or easier. You're welcome, Kevson. Yeah, guys, I mean, there's still, like, we're starting to note though, like, look, cluster of buying up here, selling down here, cluster of buying up here, some selling down here, another cluster of buying up here, but it's at a lower high, so we're still trending lower, and another cluster of selling. All right, well, if we can get back up here around this 79.80 area here and we start to see buyers, then we can have a possible reversal, right? It'll probably go back and forth a bit, but here, look, selling, not selling, buying, looking for buyers now to trade right back up here to 78 3/4. Okay, that's our double bottom in here. Okay, now it's doing a triple bottom, and there's still, look at the selling down here, none. Okay, do we get buyers here? Yep. Do look at the order book? Yep. Looking for this area right here to trade. 78 3/4. Boom. All right. So that, again, that's a quick read, but it's order flow. Okay, and we started to note that distinction here and then here. And I thought we'd get it here. We didn't. We did one more rotation, then we got it. Now we're looking for, maybe you can get higher, 81, 80 and a half, 81. Okay. Yeah, and the potential squeeze, absolutely, Alec. I mean, that it sets up. We have a potential squeeze. Get above all of this selling right around here at 80 and look out. Look at the buyers. They'll come in and look out. I mean, you won't get it, you'll have to get out very quickly if you want to save some of your profits. Now, weaker hands, it depends. Really, it really depends on your time frame in here. Weaker hands, for example, like you could make your argument for getting out, right around in here, because you saw this double bottom pattern or triple bottom pattern in here, and then you saw some of the buying coming in. Well, you'd be getting out of your position. Right, so you made pretty good profit down to 77 and a half or so from I don't know, where were we looking to get in? Sell side, well, around our 98 and a half area, maybe a little bit lower. Okay, well, hold on, 98 and a half, yeah, so maybe a little lower, maybe is in this area here, 97 and a half. Right, because you really see the cluster in here. It's looking good. They're below it, and you see the cluster of selling. I'm looking for the continuation. Anyway, so that's, let's see, 98, 97 and a half. So that's a 20-point move. Okay, and pretty stress-free. Pretty stress-free. We're looking for the directional move, right? And got it. Now we're kind of back to like, it's going to be back and forth in here. All right, so anyway, guys, like there was a lot of comments yesterday about going over in YouTube, at least, on going over live analysis, forward-looking analysis instead of lessons, and we just saw some stuff, and I wanted to go over some of the lessons. But you can see, though, how we can apply those lessons from yesterday to today. So, I'm here not to waste your guys' time, but to give you more insight and, assist with your order flow trading. And whatever it is I can do to help, that's the goal. Nice, TK. You've got some nice winners in there. Excellent. All right. Well, anyway, guys, let's wrap it up. Tom B is next, and he'll take the baton and look for jumping into your volume profile trading. All right. Yeah. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to reiterate about the yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, David. Why we cover some of these lesson days, and then if we see some good stuff, we're going to go through it, because we're going to see it. We're going to see it in here, and we did today. So now it's going to we're looking for some back and forth in here. And you got to read the order flow. It's going to be, we're kind of back to the look at the range in here. like they seem to be attracted to this liquidity in here, right? But sellers can take it really quickly right back down into these lower levels here. And we're still basically, it's testing this structure here, but we are still in a downtrend. Okay, even with this kind of pullback in here, we are still in a downtrend. Okay, we have to get a lot of volume above 80 here in order for that trend, or at least the smaller time frame structure, to break here. We may get it, we'll see, but we may get trend continuation. Anyway, look at your higher time frame levels, put those pieces together, and take it forward. All right, everybody. Well, yeah, thanks for coming, and thanks, guys. Yeah, have a good day, everybody. We'll meet up tomorrow with Jay Trader stocks. I'll go through the S&P for a little bit until he comes in. He comes in a little bit later, 10 minutes, 15 minutes after 10, and then we'll jump into stocks. All right, thanks for coming, everybody, and we will catch up tomorrow. Bye-bye.